Hey everyone, welcome to episode 60 of the Miami Tech Pod. I'm Cesar. We got the full house here today, Brian, Maria, and Will. And we took a week off. I mean, we had to recover from Miami Tech Week. This is the official Miami Tech Week recap episode, and we have a lot to talk about. Some housekeeping is later in the pod. We have interviews with Felice Gorordo, the CEO of eMerge's, and Peter Smith, the CEO of Blockchain.com. We were live at eMerge, and we were, speaking with both of them. They had a lot to offer, so make sure you listen to the full episode. But first, how's everyone's week? Is everyone recovered?
Slowly. We're coming back to it.
I mean, I'm still in awe at following Maria's Instagram stories for a week. I felt like I was living vicariously through her, and I was tired from that.
I think we all have different levels of Miami Tech Week, from took it easier or had to kind of sit out a few things to max. Maria is the max level. MVP of Miami Tech Week. I think I don't know if there was an event that Maria was not at. So
we got eliminated, and Maria made it to the finals, the NBA finals. Brian didn't make the playoffs. I probably got to the Eastern Conference Finals and lost, and Maria just won the championship.
I think that is a great analogy. Yeah, congrats, Maria. You're a champ. I mean, made it to all. That's just that. I mean, Maria was doing panels, speaking on the covers of magazines, and all those things together, plus being at every party. So
you guys are all my hype people. I love it.
Probably doing deals,
Yeah. If you want to book Maria for an appearance, you go through us. We'll handle all of them.
I think we need to work on Maria's walk-up music, in baseball. So when she appears on the podcast for now, it's like Rocky soundtrack or something. As she comes on.
You guys are ridiculous.
A funny story about Tech Week is, we all have a Miami Tech Pod text chain. I was like, hey, Brian, we're doing this pod live at eMerge. You're going to, we'll see you there, right? And he's like, no, I'm on crutches. And we're just like, yeah, Brian's not going to make it. But he showed up on crutches and everything.
It took me an extra day, but I made the effort to get out there. I was unfortunately I missed the live recordings that you guys did. But I felt like you guys had it more than covered without me. But that being said, I am really curious to hear from each of you. What were some of the most Miami type things you guys saw last week? Because we have this huge influx of tech bros from New York, the Valley, Europe, wherever, but then they were all sort of leaning into this whole Miami spirit. And so I'm curious from each of you, what were some of the most Miami things you saw? Because as Cesar said, I wasn't there for most of this. I saw a little bit of eMerge, which I thought was great. And then I had to go back into my cave.
Let's do it this way, Brian. Let's start with who threw the best party. Let's do a little round robin on that. Okay. And then why don't we do who had the best panel / speech, and then we'll end with takeaways, hopes for next year, all of that. Does that work?
Yeah, love that. I love that. Although I think it goes without saying that both Will and Maria had the best panels and talks of the week.
Well, fine. Let's start there.
Definitely
first.
Will.
Yeah. Let's start there first, and then we'll do parties, and then hopes for next year, biggest takeaway. So, who had the best panel / speech? I'll go first. Will Weinraub. So what I'm referring to here is Will was on the stage at eMerge Americas, talking about building a brand in Web3 with the co-founder of Doodles, one of the most iconic NFT projects on the planet. And he just crushed it. He talked. First of all, it was really cool to see you on stage, Will, in front of so many people, right? But also, you made it, right? You literally, as one of the experts in front of this international crowd on building a brand in NFTs and Web3. I mean, it was just a ton of insights, really neat to see.
Thanks, man. I mean, we were just going up there, Jordan and I, Jordan, who's the co-founder of Doodles, and we were just like, it was funny because we were connecting, backstage and just chatting about things. And then when they called us, like, hey, you guys are going on stage now, it was just like a continuation of the conversation we were already having, So yeah, what a great guy, super knowledgeable. I really enjoyed that talk. I think Doodles is a premier project, and Jordan has a great mind. He's been in the blockchain space since 2018 because he was on the CryptoKitties team at Dapper Labs. So he's really kind of seen this whole space evolve. And coincidentally, it was Dapper Labs and the CryptoKitties product that got me into NFTs in the first place. And he was one of the builders of that project. So it was just kind of interesting to chat with him and talk about how this whole thing has evolved in such a short period of time. And I don't feel like I've made it whatsoever, which is going up there and just having a conversation and trying to learn like anybody else in the crowd. So I really enjoyed that, and I really appreciate Melissa and the eMerge crew for even inviting me up there to speak. It was a big honor.
I mean, I think you did a great job from the clips I saw after. And my goal is for next year for me to be up there interviewing you about Cryptoys.
That'd be dope.
And then the hype man cycle can continue. But so, Will, I'm curious, like you were a participant in a panel. Like, what was your favorite panel that you saw, though?
Oh man, favorite panel. I really enjoyed, and this is not me playing favoritism, but I really enjoyed Chris's panel with Baron Davis and them talking about Web3 and all the stuff that Baron's doing as someone that is an investor and backing a lot of projects and spending a lot of time in both LA and in Miami, just his perspective on the whole thing. So that was a really fun conversation. And then, it was, I think one of my favorite moments was actually just seeing Melissa on stage announce eMerge again and being back up there because, that's such a, eMerge is such a passion project for her and Felice and the whole team. And it was just so great to see that conference come back and be better than ever with like so much energy. That was such an important conference for folks that have, been here in the scene for a decade. eMerge was the conference. I mean, it was that and SuperConf were the two big events for me every single year, outside of like the monthly refresh meetups, which were always fantastic, and all the stuff you guys did at and all those great events. But it was eMerge and SuperConf was like the two big premier events, and it was just so great to kind of see eMerge kind of take its place as like the premier high-end Miami tech conference. I just loved it, and it was so great, that moment of her announcing it and getting the mayor on stage and whatnot, and Pitbull was up there, and it was just like a cool moment overall to see it all come back.
my favorite moment in Pitbull's speech, where he's like, everybody calls New York the Big Apple, well, I call Miami the Pineapple. It was quite the Armando moment.
He's super passionate. I always love hearing him speak because he's got so much energy and just so much passion for the city of Miami. So I thought, Chris's talk was awesome. And then, I just, again, love seeing, Melissa kick it off. And throughout the day, there's just so many great panels and talks at eMerge. And eMerge really was my central kind of conference for the week. I did a few like little side events and saw a few talks, but really it was eMerge is like the premier one that I focused on, because had a few other things that I had to do related to the company. So I'm sure, Cesar and Maria can chime in on some other stuff outside of eMerge that was also pretty good.
Well, on that note, Maria, what was your highlight of the week from all the different events and the panels and things like that?
So I wish I would have gotten to more panels. At eMerge, I was kind of working our booth and having really great conversations with different entrepreneurs and investors that were stopping by. So it was just great. It felt like a homecoming to see everybody again and to be on the expo floor. And I roamed around and looked at some of the startups that were exhibiting, and it was great to see the quality of companies that were there. And I think just it was just surreal the whole week, how it all came together, and all the folks, new and old, and the excitement around Miami that still 2 years later is alive and well. And if anything, just picking up momentum every day. So I think it was like, my takeaway was just the whole week, the general feeling of like, there were so many moments where I kind of took a step back and I was like, is this all really happening? So it was, yeah, I think it was, I'm still in shock and awe, and I think I was running on pure happiness and adrenaline from the week.
So, Maria, how was the panel that you moderated on Friday about building in Miami at the Miami Tech Week event that Founders Fund threw and a couple others? But how was that? I mean, I saw some big names on there, and you were on stage. I wasn't at the event because of work things, but I heard it was great. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. It's my favorite topic, building in Miami. And I got the opportunity to interview 4 local entrepreneurs, 2 that kind of were originally from Miami, 2 that have recently made Miami their home, and kind of hearing their experiences. And kind of one segment of the panel, I just kind of went through some of the things that people say as to why Miami's not gonna make it, and kind of hearing their real takes on it. And so I think it was just a great representation of really great entrepreneurs that are building here and have all the intention to continue to build here, and why they find Miami to be such an incredible city for their companies, and the role that Miami has played in it. Because I feel like, yes, you can build your company anywhere, but how supportive and Miami has been, and how Miami as a city has played a pivotal role in their company. And I had my first heckler.
What?
It was entertaining. He was fine.
Who talked? I mean, spill the tea. Like, what happened?
It was like we had like a Q&A portion, and I don't know. He came afterwards and apologized. Apparently, he did some heckling at a later panel as well. But he just, and I don't know if it's considered heckling, but at first he was
not if you apologize. That's weak sauce. If you're gonna be a disruptor and heckle, you gotta like, like follow through.
No, I mean, it was harmless. And
But like, what did he do? What did he say? And I mean, I wasn't there, so I need to know.
No, I think at first he just started spewing words, and I wasn't really sure. The sound was a little off, so I couldn't understand what he was saying at first. And so at first he was just saying random words like crypto, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. We were just kind of all very confused. No, I'm sure he's a lovely, lovely person. But
look at this. Maria is so nice that she's even nice to people who are assholes to her post facto. Like, come on, Maria. We need we need some Miami Latina like revenge rage to emerge here. Come on.
No, sorry.
How am I supposed to live vicariously through you if like you're not calling out some D-bag for ruining or for interrupting your panel as I interrupt your story?
No, I'm sure he's fine. But I'll say another panel that I really enjoyed that day is Jack from Atomic moderated a kind of health and wellness panel with 4 entrepreneurs. One, Andrew from Papa, Martin, who's done a lot of businesses here. And so it was really interesting to kind of hear all the different innovation in that space. So shout out to Jack and that whole panel.
All right. All seriousness aside, now I want to know who threw the best rager this week. Like, who took the Miami party up a level, and which one of these parties did you guys come away from like, holy crap, that was amazing?
So I'll go first because I Maria and Cesar probably had better coverage than I did. I tried to go to as many as I could, but the one that I particularly really liked was the 305 Ventures party at Island. What do they call it? Island Gardens? What is that venue? Just awesome. Obviously, being on the water, you walk in, that venue's epic, and then you, of course, in true Miami fashion, have dancers on poles and fire dancing and whatnot, and it's just, what I mean. It was very Miami, and of course, I got to see Cesar and Maria there, which made it even better. And then there were some epic house parties. I don't want to put anybody out there on whose house parties they were, but some pretty badass homes on Venetian and on the water that we got a chance to make some really amazing connections to. And I typically like those a lot better. There's kind of like, they're not typically like a rager, but you actually talk to people and make connections and hear stories and exchange ideas. And one of the parties that we got a chance to go to together was exactly that. So that was a good one.
I think we can talk about the party, just not the address and home and all that. So it was Greylock invited us to party they were throwing in Venetian. Josh McFarland, one of the GPs at Greylock, was down here. We had a mutual connection, and it really great because it wasn't like 150 people in a tight. It was like we had really meaningful conversations, and it was neat. So
I might be getting old, but that's like, I guess that being
yeah, exactly.
meaningful conversation and a drink was like the highlight as opposed to the raging raves that were going on.
All right, I'll go next. The 137 Ventures / 305 Ventures closing party was just ridiculous. It was, in some $55 million home, and I feel like 400 or 500 people. I mean, it was definitely the most packed party of the week. But there's two things that made it the best party for me. Just the absolute sheer level of skill that every party goer had in not falling into the pool in the backyard was remarkable. I mean, I thought for sure, the layout of this backyard is that there's like 9 different water features, and you have to like climb and jump from.
I think that venue is starting to become iconic for Miami parties.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then there was some guy on a jetpack in a robot costume firing off a flamethrower, which was pretty wild.
Over the water,
right? But it was just great vibes. Ton of people, in tech, a lot of VCs, a lot of people from ton of companies, founders. It felt like a true closing party. So I think that was my favorite. There are a lot of very close seconds. Definitely the atomic party at Basement at the Edition was really neat, and then the Construct Capital and Lex Capital party at the Standard was phenomenal. So.
Do you guys think that Miami has fully healed now that all the fire performers are now fully employed?
Yeah, basically, like the industry is alive and well.
So I'll give my take. I definitely agree on Will and Cesar's feedback, and I feel like 305 just fund knows how to throw a good party, and whoever they partner with, they always do an incredible job. And so we were actually one of the sponsors of the Tuesday night party, and when Will says women on poles, he means there was like this like acrobatic woman in a circle who was pouring wine upside down into people's glasses.
That's a very important clarification.
Yes. As a one woman on this pod, we did not hire strippers.
Not to be confused with the parties at 11.
Exactly.
Correct. There were women, there were poles, but it was not that kind of. It was more of a
Cirque du Soleil.
Cirque du Soleil is very elegant. It was very classy.
Great catch, Maria. Great
Thank
catch.
you. I didn't want the hate mail. But I have a few answers to this. The best party I didn't get to go to was Craft Ventures threw a party in Wynwood, and they had Vanilla Ice perform.
I was there for that.
See? And so I felt like my childhood would love to see Vanilla Ice perform.
I gotta know. So once he does Ice Ice Baby, what
other
song does he perform after that?
That's it.
You don't know,
or just he does it in a loop.
So from the Ninja Turtles movie, there's Go Ninja Go, and he had the little guy in a Ninja Turtle costume with him on stage. So yeah, that's a moment.
What was it? Those 2 songs?
I mean, I only counted a couple. I was like, I wasn't really focused on his performance. And I was also like, it was just coming in from the Freehold happy hour. It was like right back to back.
So you were a few deep in by that point.
Yeah. We had a good time. That was a fun night. I went into Peter Tunney's lab and heard more incredible stories that only Peter Tunney could tell. It was a good night overall.
Another great party, Founders Fund did one at Joya Beach, and they had Afrojack perform, and Mayor Suarez was on stage with him. That was a really good time. I actually sadly enough had not been to Joya Beach yet, so that was fun. And then I have to give a huge shout out to my girl Janine at Brex, who threw an epic yacht party. You can see I'm sporting swag that I got from it, my WAGMI hat. She put in so much effort. Every detail was just thought through, and it was just incredibly. if for those who don't know, they basically hired 12 yachts that all went out on the water on Saturday and kind of paired different people on the boats, investors, entrepreneurs. It was awesome. So great job, Janine.
All right, let's do takeaways right now. What we think would be good to see next year overall, general takeaways. Will, why don't you go first, and then Maria jump in after.
Yeah, good question. I mean, this was such a great week overall. I think the biggest problem we had was there was too many events. It was hard to be at all these different ones. You really had to be selective. I guess that's a good problem to have. So no, I think, look, Miami is clearly on an incredible trajectory. I think this was the first really truly organized Miami Tech Week. Remember, last year was kind of like a little bit ad hoc. Now this was the first organized one, and I think all the learnings will go into the next one to make it even better. So can't really complain. It was amazing stuff, and I think just the energy. It's really not just about these parties, but like, again, the example you tweeted about it, Cesar, right? Leaving a party, meeting a bunch of people in the street that are showing you an app, that are talking about things, right? Like, those were the things that really made, like, you had to be in Silicon Valley for that. Like, you would go out there and you'd bump into someone on the street outside of a bar, and they'd show you a mobile app and what could be great about it, and you can maybe like invest in them or track them. Those are happening in Miami. Those collisions are happening pretty frequently. So just keep on doing what the city's doing.
Yeah, going off of that, I was at Top Tier, did a party at our house, and there was kind of this live band, and it just transported me to like South by Southwest. And I'm like, I feel like anybody who wasn't involved in Tech Week this year had major FOMO. So I think it's just going to continue to build on each other. And next year, unfortunately or fortunately, it'll be even a ton more events, which hopefully means there'll be space for more people to kind of get invited. I know there were a lot of people who wanted to participate, and probably because of venues weren't able to, but hopefully we'll be able to engage more of the community. More parties will be available, and more collisions and great conversations, and more founders and tech talent will be motivated to move here.
I agree with that. It's not, I mean, obviously, like, people work really hard, and there's absolutely a reasonable take that like you should be able to have that release valve and party and all that, but like the real magic at these things is what you just said. It's like a really important point. It's how many deals, how many like employment offers, how many rounds closed came out of this, and how does that benefit the overall tech ecosystem here. And I think that piece is often overshadowed by like fire dancers at a party with famous DJs, right? It's like there is undoubtedly some type of life-changing moment that happened for somebody at this week, and or for a company at this week, or that company that is like looking at the end of their run rate, and suddenly someone some investor said, hey, like, this is a great idea, let me provide capital, right? Like that piece is, and even like at eMerge, right? Like you had like rows and rows of startups that are like pre-revenue products that have like this phenomenal stage where, like Steve Case is walking around, and Alexis Ohanian is like, what does that company do? Right? Like that type of connection is just the real magic of Tech Week. My big takeaway and prediction is that it's going to be at least 5 times bigger next year. I think this is going to start rivaling South by Southwest. I think we're going to start, seeing, famous performers every single night of the week. Like the companies that missed out are going to start planning to have, big presence. You're going to see more sponsorship dollars flowing. Like I think it's just going to compound and get bigger, because that it doesn't matter where you were in the country, maybe even the world, like you heard about it, and there was so much FOMO that'll catapult this to be 5 times bigger next year.
I mean, I'm with you. I think the fact that the local companies now have, or not even local, just Transplant or any companies that's here, have a much better platform in Miami to build off of, and to like, success is higher. There's a higher likelihood of success here for the companies that are like active here in Miami and have a presence here for all those reasons you guys said. I think next year it's going to be interesting to think about like, how does this get bigger? How does this also like bring in more LATAM, bring in more of the other resources and groups that weren't necessarily participating in this year's Miami Tech Month, and all that stuff. But I'm here for it. I think next year, my prediction is that we're gonna have a studio for Miami Tech Pod, and we're gonna be doing a ton of interviews and live streams and stuff like that. Maybe we co-host a party because Cesar is now a celebrity on the internet at that point, and his hype man Maria can play his walk up song.
It's probably the reverse, but yeah.
So, but no, I'm super excited. Look, and all this stuff, it was impossible to predict 3 years ago, 4 years ago. This was like so many different. This is like the perfect storm, right? Of all the different factors coming together to bring this energy, bring this vibe together.
Well, let's leave it there. We are going to move on now to a really cool interview with the CEO of Americas, Felice Gorordo. He took some time, on day one of eMerge to sit with us and give us some insights on, what eMerge was all about. So hope you enjoy the interview, and we'll go right after, that interview to Peter Smith, the CEO of Blockchain.com. Three of us sat down with him, and Blockchain.com was, of course, the title sponsor of eMerge. They've announced they're moving their U.S. headquarters to Miami. They're building it out in Wynwood. So we talked about, Peter and Blockchain.com doubling down on Miami as a city. So I hope you enjoy both interviews, and we'll be with you next week. All right. We are here with the man of the hour, Felice Gorordo, the CEO of eMerge Americas.
Thank you, Cesar. Thank you so much for having us.
Welcome to the Miami Tech Pod, man. Why don't you tell the listeners of, the Miami Tech community and abroad, because people are listening to the Miami Tech podcast, believe it or not, from, multiple countries all over the US, what eMerge Americas is all about. This is not the first year of the conference. Tell us a little bit about the journey.
Sure.
And really what type of speakers we're going to see over the next 48 hours here, and what people want to get out of this conference this year.
Thanks, Cesar. Well, so eMerge Americas is a platform focused on transforming Miami into becoming the tech hub of the Americas. And we do that by convening stakeholders that make up any thriving tech ecosystem, from government to academia, accelerators to incubators and more. We connect the dots between entrepreneurs and capital and talent, and we help tell the story of how South Florida and the region as a whole is transforming. And boy, oh boy, has it transformed over the course of the last 18 months. It's absolutely incredible. And last year was truly a transformative year for us. We had almost $5 billion, $5.3 billion actually, invested in local Miami startups. Ranked us first in the Southeast US for venture capital dollars invested, 9th overall in the nation. We're number one for tech job growth in the nation, and number one in tech job migration. And so what this conference is all about is showcasing that. And it's been 2 years since we've been able to produce this in person, in real life.
Right.
And we're just so incredibly excited to be able to bring everyone back here.
And how many attendees are going to be here at eMerge this, over the week?
So numbers are not out yet, but we're on track to have over 20,000 attendees here, which would make this the biggest conference yet. And then in terms of participating companies, we've got them all the big tech companies: Google, Microsoft, Blockchain.com, especially in the crypto space, Blockchain, OKCoin, Algorand, Crypto.com, Coinbase, you name it, they're here. And we've got 4x in terms of what was our best participating year in terms of companies.
Yeah, let's talk about crypto for a second. Do you feel like, with just the absolute explosion of interest in cryptocurrency, investment in cryptocurrency, that's going to be much more of a highlight this year at eMerge, compared to previous years? It
definitely is, and it's I think for a couple of reasons. One, that's definitely where the money is right now. And if you look, of course, of last year, fintech was the trending and leading vertical, in and outside of crypto, but definitely, in general, it was fintech. But it's not going to be the only one. We also, have a lot of companies from other sectors and other verticals, including health tech. Right. And then with regards to blockchain and crypto or digital asset ecosystems at large, we're going to have more than 50 mayors from across the country here for what we're calling our eMerge Americas Government Summit,
right.
eGov.
Yep.
And that's going to be in partnership with Galaxy Digital. And that is going to be focused on helping mayors figure out how to navigate the space. What are some of the best practices, lessons learned, and how can they take that back to the communities where they are to better serve their citizens and their residents?
Yeah, I think that's so important. I mean, you guys saw the value of, integrating civic leaders into eMerge, and in a way that, is just missing in tech, I think, right? There's obviously a few stars like our Mayor Suarez, and a couple others that, are just really into doing whatever they can to help the tech community. But I think you all were intentional about saying, like, how do we, invite mayors from all around the country to come here to see up close and personal the founders, the people building companies, all of that. Do you think this is an opportunity to build on that for years, where this is just like that melding of civic leaders and tech, every year, once here in Miami, once a year?
Absolutely. And it's been a part of our programming since the very beginning, eGov, that is. Sure. Because we know that public policy can either make it or break it for innovation. Mm-hmm. We also know that mayors and municipal governments are where rubber hits the road. Yep. For many communities. And so giving them the tools and the resources and the knowledge in order how to best navigate the space and leverage it to better serve their constituencies, I think is key. All right. We know you're super busy. This is day one of eMerge, so we're going to wrap. But like, what is the thing that you're looking forward to the most at the conference this week? So no doubt, Serena Williams, her opening keynote tomorrow, I think is going to be amazing. But for me, it's always the startup showcase. It really is the heart and soul of eMerge. We've got 100 startups that have been selected from thousands of applicants. Yep. And then the top 5 are going to be pitching in our Shark Tank finale with Mr. Wonderful himself, Kevin O'Leary. He's so good. And a chance to win $500,000 in investment, almost $500,000 in investment, and hundreds of thousands of dollars in prizes. With royalties or no? Because I know how he rolls a little bit. That's a good question. You'll have to wait and see. You'll have to wait and see. Felice, thanks so much for joining the Miami Tech Pod, man. We're really excited to be a part of eMerge, and we're going to highlight a lot of the entrepreneurs and founders and operators that are here over the next 48 hours, and we're just thrilled to be a part of it. Thank you, Cesar. Thank you for helping us tell our story. All right, we are here at eMerge Americas with the man himself, Peter Smith, the CEO and founder of Blockchain.com. Peter, welcome to the Miami Tech Pod.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. This is really exciting. This is the first eMerge where everyone's really back in person, and it's pretty clear like crypto is front and center at this eMerge. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what led you all to partner with eMerge as a title sponsor and go from there?
Yeah, so I think it's only fitting that crypto is front and center at eMerge this year, given how front and center crypto is at the Miami tech scene. Yep. It's the crypto capital of America. I think for us, when we met the team at eMerge, we were really excited about investing in the Miami tech ecosystem. And one of the things that you learn about a tech ecosystem is that community and events are really important. And so, they wanted to scale eMerge, to take eMerge kind of from what had been a smaller event to an event that would be sort of representative of what Miami Tech is now. And we were really happy to partner with them and support that vision from the Vedina family.
Cool.
So for those of people who may be living under a rock, can you explain what Blockchain.com is?
Yeah, so we're a crypto financial services business. We have a pretty simple mission, which is to make it easy for consumers and institutions to access the cryptocurrency markets. Obviously, that gets pretty complicated when you deal with, 40 million customers around the world, 2,000 institutions, billions of trading volume a day. But still at the simple core of the company is this idea that we want to make it possible for anyone to be a part of the crypto market for any customer need they might require.
Awesome. Very cool. And I was listening to your talk right there to kind of kick things off at eMerge with Francis Suarez. And, you know, I love you announcing you're hiring a ton of people here in Miami. As someone that's Miami born and raised, and also someone who started his prior company in 2012 in Wynwood. Awesome that you're making a big bet on that neighborhood, right, and growing. So can you tell a little bit about Blockchain.com's big bet on Miami and why you're making such an emphasis to hire locally and just grow your presence here?
Yeah, I think ultimately it's because of the level of excitement the city has for crypto.
Right.
So we want to be places where they want the industry, where people are excited about the products, and where we can really bet on a local community. And that's something that you really find in Miami. It's not just, you know, the mayor or the governor or the politicians that are excited about crypto. It's actually people in Miami that are really excited about crypto. Yep. And that's a really special thing. It makes it easier to hire. It makes it more fun. You know, and then Wynwood to me kind of felt like Shoreditch or Brooklyn 8 to 10 years ago.
Yep.
And I mean, you're 2012. That's super early.
Yeah.
It's probably just you and Wynwood at that point.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
My mom was like, "What are you doing in that neighborhood? That's not a good neighborhood for you, William."
Is that the impression of your mom?
That's my Israeli mother talking.
That's
yes,
great.
Exactly.
But to me, like, I was in Shoreditch, you know, for 8 years, where our European headquarters is.
Yeah.
And walking around Wynwood, it just kind of felt like the right vibe.
The energy.
Yeah. You know, and realistically, it's also the place in Miami where you can get office space that feels like tech. Right. It doesn't really feel like tech to be in downtown Miami.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, the coffee is good in Wynwood.
Oh yeah, Panther! Shout out to Panther Coffee.
Yes, right? we are Vice City people.
Oh, Vice City! Hey,
that's my favorite.
A lot of love for
Sorry,
Vice City.
Panther.
We
Vice
have
City's got it.
we have a major partnership with Vice. They do all of our events.
Cool.
We got a soft spot for Panther because they kind of started Wynwood. They were like the first one, but Vice is so damn good.
I've been known to stray into Panther Coffee.
No pun intended.
With my blockchain hat on. It's Vice all the way.
I love that.
Well,
a lot of people don't know this about Miami, though, but Miami is like have a huge crypto history, right? Like conferences, the Bitcoin conference has gone back almost a decade now. And a lot of people also don't know this, but Ethereum was actually launched at Bitcoin conference in 2014, I believe, here in Miami. So
were you there, Peter?
I wasn't at that conference. I actually, when the network launched, I was a little closer to it.
Yeah.
Before the last couple of years, rarely went to conferences.
Yeah.
Now I'm up to 3 conferences a year.
Yeah.
But in my first 7 years in crypto, I went to 3 conferences.
So just that sentence alone, in my first 7 years of crypto, I mean, walk us through that. That's a statement in and of itself.
I've been doing this for 10 years now.
Yeah.
So I'm like a grandpa.
And we've talked about this. You know, you were like early days where in order to transact in Bitcoin, you posted on a message board, right? Is that?
Yeah, you posted a message on bitcointalk.org. Like, I would like to buy some Bitcoins. And somebody's like, so, you know, it was a very different space back then. Yeah. Now, you know, it's super easy.
Right.
You can do it in like 4 or 5 minutes on our website. It's very complicated back then. It was a multi-day process.
Yeah.
The space has really come a long way in 10 years. And I think one of the coolest things about it is the opportunity that it presents people today. Because even though it's come a long way in the last 10 years, it's still relatively very small.
Yeah,
right.
But one of the things that we say a lot is like, you can still be early to crypto.
Yeah, that's the marketing here at the booth, right? Be early to crypto.
Be early to crypto. And you look at crypto market today, and it represents 30 to 40 basis points of global assets.
Right.
Right. So it's comparatively really small. And if you believe in the power of these technologies and in what the industry is creating, it has to be 20 to 40 times bigger over the next couple of years. Yeah. And I think that's really exciting, not just for the company, but also for the cities that have really embraced this technology early. And Miami is one of the foremost in that category.
He says with his "how I can help" pin. I like that pin.
Well, right before we went on stage, the mayor and I swapped pins. Nice. I had a blockchain pin, and he had, this is his pin actually.
Cool.
So we swapped pins.
It's a collector's item right there.
You become friends. You start exchanging suit pens. Maybe I'll give him my earrings.
So let me ask you. You all had a major announcement this week. One of the most exciting, brand partnerships with the Dallas Cowboys. I have two questions on that. Number one, have you been practicing on that spiral? I saw you tossing like the most perfect spiral to Dak Prescott, on the field. But backing up a little, walk us through, that partnership, what it means to the company, and what your users should be expecting from it going forward.
Well, the thesis there is pretty simple. The NFL is the most popular sport in America, right? The Cowboys are the most popular NFL team. They're also the most popular sports team in America by enormous margin. We want to work with the best. We want to be in the city that loves crypto the most.
Yep.
We want to sponsor the biggest team. We want to have the highest quality of service. And so we've been working on that deal for quite a long time. That had to be approved by the NFL.
Yeah.
So it's been in progress for a while.
Easy.
The story on the pass is before this week, I probably hadn't touched a football for at least 5 years.
There you go.
But I played a lot of football when I was younger.
Okay.
So, not my first time.
Cool.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in the Shenandoah Valley in Appalachia. So West Virginia.
Wow. Very cool. Good.
Yeah, no, I mean, really excited to have you here in Miami building a presence. And for folks, you're hiring a bunch of people, like you said on stage. For folks that weren't privy to that, where could they go to learn more about your roles or just get involved with everything you're doing?
Yeah, you can just go to blockchain.com/careers.
Great.
All of the opportunities are there. You can work on any team in Miami. We're hiring into all the functions, all the teams. And we'd love to have you. Are you still in Wynwood?
Yeah, so my old Live Ninja headquarters is on 120 Northwest 25th Street, which is called the Seminole Building. So we sold that company in 2017, but my buddy actually just took that same space over. Actually has a nice little legacy in Miami Tech, because we used to hold weekly waffle networkers called Waffle Wednesday. Every single Wednesday morning. It was like a Miami Tech thing. And we did it every single week. So they took over the space, and now I'm in that shared old Live Ninja space, but with them. I have a new company now, but we operate out of there.
Are you still doing the waffles?
So
Let's bring it back.
Yeah, we got to bring that back.
Well.
Maybe that's like a blockchain.com collab that we can
Yes.
talk about. Waffle Wednesday with blockchain.com.
I love the idea of a Waffle Wednesday.
All right.
Stay tuned for that.
You heard it here first at
That's
eMerge. Stay tuned. Peter, thanks for joining the pod, man. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
All right.